Hello everyone. On behalf of Integrity Remote Staffing, I welcome you all to our next webinar. In this webinar, we will focus upon understanding how remote staffing and outsourcing are different and how remote staffing can be a better solution than outsourcing. So today with me, I have Mike Goossen. Mike is Integrity's chief mentor. He is a CPA and also the CEO of Columns for Success. We also have Sean Parikh with us, who is the founder and CEO of Integrity Group. And I am Chandan, Client Success Manager with Integrity. Before we begin, let me give you a quick background about Integrity. We are headquartered out of Montauk, Long Island, New York, and also have 3 offices in India. Today, we are working with 500 plus accounting firms all across the United States, and have a client retention rate of 96%. Integrity is an ISO 27001 certified company, which is the highest standard for information security management. And it's pride to share that we have had 0 security breach till date. And we also exclusively work with CPA firms, accounting practices, and tax professionals. So I will now invite Mike to take this webinar forward and share some of his valuable insights about integrity and remote staffing and how is it different from outsourcing. So over to you, Mike.
Thank you, Shannon, for that introduction and the information about what we're doing today. We want to go ahead and start talking about the difference between remote staffing and outsourcing. Today, as we talk about remote staffing versus outsourcing, let's go ahead and define those differences and try to clear up any misconceptions there might be out there. When we're talking about outsourcing, what we're talking about now is where you have a particular need that cannot be met necessarily internally, that's outside of your core service, and you allow someone else to do that for you. So you hire a vendor, for example, to do a website for you. They take care of all the work. You don't meet their staff. They do it themselves, and they deliver a product back to you, and you are happy or not, and you work it to where you want it to be. Whereas remote staffing is where you have the individual in your control, where you are actually managing and bringing those people into your environment. They become a part of your organization. So that's the difference we're talking about between remote staffing and outsourcing. They are both different, and they both have their suitable and their specific needs, but they are in fact different. And we want to make sure we understand those differences as we progress through this presentation. So when you're looking at remote staffing versus outsourcing, here are some differences that help us understand that even further. When you're remote staffing, you're actually hiring a team member, someone who's going to come in and become a part of your organization, who's going to follow your rules, be a part of your leadership, and allow them to meet and do the work that you have them doing in different ways. Whereas when you're hiring a vendor, you're asking for a specific project or task, and maybe an account manager, someone outside of your firm. So that's the difference between hiring a team member versus a vendor in that case. Your own staff versus ghost working. Your own staff here, you're going to actually interview, decide if you want that person, and bring that person on board and work with your organization. Ghost working is where we're looking at someone who's doing it where you have no control over, you don't even know who they are. The work is being done by somebody else and brought into your firm for you from the outsourced organization. Do you have control or not? Under remote staffing, you do have direct control. The person who is in your remote staff is working directly for you, reports directly to you, and your leaders and managers control them. Whereas outsourcing, the vendor is taking care of all that for you. You have no control over it, and the outcome may be good or bad, or it might meet your needs or not, but you don't know until it's completed. You have no impact on the process, only the results.
In case of remote staffing, the hiring is absolutely need-based, like local staffing. Whereas in case of outsourcing, what happens is an account manager is going to be appointed who's going to coordinate on behalf of the vendor, and there will be a team of professionals working under him. And it might so happen that today there will be somebody working on your project, and tomorrow on the same project there will be somebody else. So you might not know who is working on your project because they don't directly report to you. You only have account manager who would have multiple clients like yours. And when we say the element of control is very, very important, because in remote staffing, you directly control the process, the staff, and also the outcome. So that is the most important thing for accounting firm, because they work for their clients with sensitive information. Plus, quality is the most important thing, where they need to produce right results. Otherwise, can fire back with audits or any other, worse situation. So it is very, very important to, manage quality as far as work is concerned, especially with accounting industry. Over to you, Mike.
Next one comes to direct reporting versus vendor representative. The direct reporting aspect of it is that all the reporting updates are to you, the firm. There's daily communication and collaboration, which is extremely important, that we collaborate, communicate in a way that the remote staff is a part of the firm's operation. When it comes to the vendor, the account manager, as we've mentioned, is already the one that coordinates everything. We don't know who the other people are working on the projects, and they may change from time to time, as we've already mentioned. So direct reporting is important to us as CPA firms. As far as learning curve, remote staff learns and becomes a part of your organization and learns how you do things and how you deliver products and services, which improves the quality of the work as time goes on. Whereas when you outsource, it's a one-time project. You may not even have the same team the next time you come back to that same company to get the next project done for you. So that might be another learning curve that might happen. You will not get the satisfactory results that you're after, as opposed to having someone who's been working with you for some time. As far as the multitask aspect of it, remote staffing allows you to hire somebody and work with someone who can do a lot of different things in your core services of your firm, be it bookkeeping, tax preparing, audit work, that sort of thing. As far as a vendor relationship, you're looking for one project at a time. So it's not nearly as efficient result of your investment when it comes to that sort of process. So I think the multitasking aspect is very important. We talk about business success and bottom line. We're always talking about efficiency, productivity, getting things done in a way that's one time, first time, and with the proper results. And I think when it comes to remote staffing and you have that control and direct supervision over the project with feedback along the way, you're going to get that result the first time. Whereas with the vendor outsourcing, there is some inconsistency. There's not direct information along the process, and then you have the project done, it's not what you're after, and then you have to rework it, and it takes more time. So delivery is a key there.
And apart from that, remote staffing essentially is a replacement to local staffing. So because local staffing is challenging, we are replacing it with staffing and not any other thing, where the staff directly reports to you like your local staff, and with the time they move ahead in the learning curve and become more efficient, more competent, and then they understand and learn the nature of the business, the nature of the client, and becomes part of your team. And as Mike rightly said, this is the most important point, being multitasking or multi-talented. Staff works for you locally, always work on multiple projects, multiple areas, multiple departments, and this typically happens in small and mid-sized accounting firms. This is what we are trying to convey, that even remote staff can do the same level of multitasking or multiple areas of work. Whereas in case of outsourcing, it is project specific or task specific. So if you have hired a vendor doing data entry work, would not be helpful to you in doing or capturing other areas of work, and which might, because the staff also changes time to time depending upon the workflow at the vendor's end, it has left the area with a lot of inconsistency, and that's where accounting industry has not been very successful with outsourcing as IT industry or other industries have done. This is the core to their business. Mike, over to you.
So it's from our perspective that we do encourage you to, when it comes to operating your CPA firm for your growth, outsourcing may not be the choice for you. So don't outsource. Hire your own resources or your own resource. So you're hiring people for you to become asset to your organization as opposed to writing a check for someone and outsourcing those services. So it's very critical and a great opportunity to support your business, grow your business, and bring in people who can and will, in the long run, help you continue to grow.
So thank you, Mike, and thank you, Sean, for giving us the valuable insight upon how remote staffing and outsourcing are different. I hope all the viewers must have found it interesting as well as informative. Please feel free to share your thoughts about it, and we'll be glad to answer all your queries. Please subscribe to our newsletters and YouTube channel to know more about upcoming webinars. And I would also request you to go to the resources section of our website where you could download ebooks to read all these topics in detail. So thank you very much.